Alright, so hello guys. So in this video, I want to do something a little different. So I want to go ahead and go over in a topic that a lot of students I feel like have trouble with. This is for those of you that are in like pre-algebra or algebra and you have trouble with integers. This is a video that's mostly going to be focused on adding and subtracting integers, positives and negative numbers, in other words. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of go over each problem, and I will show you guys the way that they taught me when I was in middle school. So let's look at part A. We have negative 3 plus 2. So here we have negative 3 plus 2. Now, you want to look at your signs. So we have a negative 3, and then we also have a 2. I'm going to go ahead and do a T-chart, okay? So here, we're going to do, actually, I'm going to do something like this, and this is going to have positives and negatives. So the number of positives are 2, right? Because, you know, we have 2 positives, right? So we're going to just go ahead and put that in here. 1, 2. And then the number of negatives is going to be, so we have 3 negatives. 1, 2, 3. And so we have to remember that for every positive, there is 1 negative. So we're going to kind of cancel out here. Go like this. So 1, 1, 2, 2. And so then you ask yourself, well, how many negatives are there left over, right? We can clearly see that there's 1 negative number. So this will be negative 1. So now let's go to part B. There's a specific rule here for part B. And this is called, so this is something they taught me in middle school again. So we're just going to try to go ahead and do this. So, so it's called keep it, change it, opposite. So keep it, change it, opposite. So we want to just make sure we understand KCO. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this. I'm going to put negative 3 minus 6 like this. So put it as it is. And we're going to keep the negative 3. So keep the negative 3. Keep negative 3. Change minus sign to addition, in other words, positive. And then, so I'm just gonna give me 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, so hopefully this is a little bit more clear. So we're gonna do plus, and we're gonna change the 6 to a negative 6. So I just want to color coding here. So we're going to do plus negative 6. Now, obviously, there are 2 negatives being added. Again, to verify, you're going to go ahead and do your T-chart. So we have positives and negatives. There's 3 negatives, 1, 2, 3. And then there's also 3 negatives. 6 negatives, excuse me. Oops. And then you're going to ask yourself how many negatives are in total, right? So how many negatives in total? So then we're going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if there are more negative, there are 9 negatives, so this is negative 9. Okay, guys, this one's a little bit extra steps. If it helps, you can think about this as, well, there are 3 negatives, there are 6 negatives, right? So if I put them together, I know I have 3 negatives and 6 negatives, so I'm going to add them, and I end up with 9 negatives. I feel like that's a little easier, but it also, if y'all want, if this chart helps, we can continue with that. Now let's look at part C. Part C says negative 2 plus 8, so we're going to go ahead and write it down. So this one, I mean, I want to teach y'all a rule, but then again, I don't know for those of you that are, I don't know if anybody knows their algebraic properties. I'm going to put it down, but I'm going to do it in the way that, for those of you that don't understand this rule, because, yeah, so this is a property. However, if y'all don't understand this, or if y'all have trouble memorizing that, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the t-chart. Now, the only time you do KCO is if you have subtraction in the middle. I want to make that very clear, guys. So here we obviously have addition, so we don't have to do KCO. So I'm just going to do my t-chart. So I'm going to do positives again and negatives. How many negatives do I have in here? Well, there's 2 negatives, right? There are 2 negatives, so I'm going to put that in. 1, 2. And then there's 8 positives. So I'm going to put them in right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so now there's 1 positive for every one negative for every positive, 1 positive for every negative, vice versa. So we're going to do this 1, 1, 1, 1, and we end up with this stuff. So there are 6 negatives. I'm sorry, 6 positives, excuse me. So we end up with 6 positives. We end up with 6 positives. Thus, negative 2 plus 8 is positive 6. Okay, guys, that is the third one. We have a few more. So I'm going to do now, I'm going to do part D. So part D is a little harder. So D says negative 7 minus negative 2, I think. If y'all hear an airplane in the background, I do apologize. So here we're going to have, so again, you want to look at your negatives and your positives, right? Obviously, there are no positives here, but we need to do KCO because remember, since we have a negative here, in the middle, do KCO chart. So we're going to do, again, we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to do this KCO, put the original in here. So negative 7 minus negative 2. So now we're going to keep the negative 7. So keep the negative 7. So we're going to do negative 7. Change this to positive. And then do the opposite of negative 2. This is 2. Remember that opposite of negative is positive, and opposite of positive is negative, okay? So now let's do our t-chart. So we have positive and negative. So we have, how many positives do we have? Well, there's positive 2, so there's 2 positives. 1, 2, right? And then there's 7 negatives. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now, again, we're gonna, this is adding, right? So, but be careful, we're gonna cross out 1 negative for every positive. So 1, 1, 2, 2. And so how many do we have left over? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. So negative 7 minus negative 2 is equal to, it's going to be negative 5. So that is how we do that one, okay, guys? And now let's look at part D. So part D says, this was part D, excuse me. And so part E is going to say, so part E is the following. Negative 2 minus 7. So again, so we're going to do our our keep it, change it opposite table. So, because again, we have a negative, right? There's a negative in here. So do KCO. So we're going to do keep it, change it opposite, put the original in here, negative 2 minus 7. So again, this is the original. So we're going to keep the negative 2, change negative to positive, and do the opposite of positive 7. This is negative 7. Now think about it. They're being added, but they're 2 negatives. So again, if you're not sure, do your t-chart. So here we have negative and positive. We have 2 negatives, right? So we have 1, 2. That's the first part there. And then we also have 7 other negatives. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so then it goes like this. And so then we ask ourselves, well, how much do we have left over? We're going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we know that we have 9 negatives. All in all, right? So therefore, we know that we're going to have, so negative 2 minus 7 is negative 9. And that is how we do that one, okay? Now let's look at part F. Give me 1 second, guys. So part F says negative 8 plus 9. So again, we don't have to do KCO here because we already have a positive. So since this is positive, we do not need to do KCO chart. Okay, so we're gonna do a t-chart instead. And so here we're just going to have positives and negatives, right? So now we're going to just put, so again, how many positives are there? How many negatives? So there are 8 negatives, right? So we're going to put those in for this part. So then we have this over here. And then we have 9 positives. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So then we have this many positives, and now for every positive there's 1 negative. So we're going to do 1, 1, 2, 2. Actually, let me do it this way. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8. And now how many positives? So how many do I have left over? Well, really, this is positive. So therefore, negative 8 plus 9 is positive 1. In other words, negative 8 plus 9 is equal to 1. Okay, guys, so that is going to be it for this video. I hope I didn't take way too long on this. So I just wanted to kind of show y'all a few ways to do it. And so that's going to be it for this video. If anybody has any questions whatsoever, please let me know. And thank you so much for watching, and please like, comment, and or subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.